Good morning to all dignitaries and participants. I am Dr. Snehalata Ankaram. First of all, I am thankful to the organizing committee of One Day National Workshop on Recent Trends in Applied Zoology, organized by Department of Zoology, Balwant College, Vita, Shri, Vijaysinha Yadav College, Peth, Vadgaon, Kolhapur, and Baburao Patil College of Arts and Science, Anagar, for providing me an opportunity for this talk. Today, I am going to talk on vermicomposting technology. Vermi technology is the production of compost from organic waste with the help of earthworms. It is the best option for solid waste management. Interesting point is that earthworm gut acts as a bioreactor which hosts numerous enzymes and beneficial microorganisms. Green or agricultural and crop residue can be managed through vermicomposting. Increase in industrialization, urbanization, and population is contributing in generating voluminous solid waste. In India, 960 million tons of solid waste is being generated annually as a result of industrial, municipal, agricultural processes. Of this, 350 million tons is composed of organic waste. Disposal of organic waste has caused serious threat to environment, thereby degrading the environmental health. Vermicomposting refers to natural bioconversion of biodegradable waste into high quality manure with the help of earthworms. These are some of the points to be highlighted in today's session, which include solid waste management, what is vermicompost and vermiwash, what are the different types of organic raw materials that are used for the bioconversion into vermicompost, methods and process of vermicomposting, benefits of vermicompost, and different types of beneficial microorganisms which are present in the vermicompost, vermiwash, and even in the earthworm gut. And next is the innovative practices which our department is following by means of vermicomposting technology. Solid waste is classified into two categories, that is biodegradable and non-biodegradable waste. Biodegradable waste is the waste that can be decomposed or broken down by means of biological action, while non-biodegradable waste is the waste which cannot be broken down or decomposed. For example, we all know plastic that can last for centuries, year after year. It is, if we dispose it, it remains as it is. Major problems affecting solid waste management are unscientific treatment, improper collection of waste, some ethical problems, etc., which in turn leads to hazards like environmental degradation, water, soil, and air pollution. Some of the proper solid waste management protocol includes waste collection from the sites, transportation to the processing sites, processing of the waste, treatment of the waste, recycling of the waste, disposal depending on the nature of the waste. These are the three R's, that is reduce, reuse, and recycle, which are the boon for sustainable waste management. Reduce means to minimize the amount of waste we create. Reuse refers to using the items more than once. And recycle is putting a product to new use instead of throwing it away. To safeguard the environment, these three R's play a key role in the sustainable environment. There are n number of techniques for solid waste management like landfilling, open dump, incineration, pyrolysis, gasification, vermicomposting, and anaerobic digestion. Vermicomposting is one of the most important option, a safe option for the solid waste management as landfilling and open dumping not only occupies the land but also emits hazardous gases and are also breeding sites for many disease causing agents, and these sites are also dangerous to the nearby residential areas as it emits dangerous gases. All these methods have some limitations. Now, vermicomposting technology is the best option among these various technologies. Here, a number of solid waste disposable methods have been presented in this slide, which are practiced globally and which are different in each country with minimum applicability. Waste to energy strategy, which is now an emerging trend and trending technology, that is, energy is produced from waste in the form of fuel, in the form of gases, in the form of electricity. These include thermal technologies like pyrolysis, gasification, incineration, and non-thermal technologies like anaerobic digestion, etc. This slide depicts the various color codes used for waste collection and segregation, which is practiced mostly by all cities. You can also often see this type of color coding bins in hospitals also. In this slide, you can see various types of organic waste like municipal solid waste, sewage sludge, paper waste, vegetable and market waste, food waste, leaf litter, garden and kitchen waste that can be bioconverted with the help of earthworms into a nutrient-rich vermicompost that can contribute towards sustainable agriculture and thus pollution-free environment can be contributed by this means of solid waste management technique. So for vermicomposting, all you need to know is the types of organic waste that are needed to be bioconverted by employing earthworms, feeding nature of earthworms and waste to energy, that is vermicompost, which reduces the waste that has to be sent to the landfill, and the vermicompost which is also useful as a plant food for agricultural crops. These earthworms are voracious feeders. They just go on eating and engulfing one third of their body weight. Then the question arises, oh, why do I need to learn the vermicompost technique? Here, I want to say you can make use of vermicompost to make your own terrace garden, kitchen garden, or home garden. You can grow organic vegetables and fruits which are free of chemical fertilizers at your own place. You can also make it an earning and employment source. Here you can sell this vermicompost in bulk to the nurseries, to landscape contractors, to greenhouses, to the gardens, supply stores, and grocery chains, to the flower shops and domestic houses. Here, vermiculture can be done to increase number of worms in order to obtain a sustainable harvest, or it can be used to expand vermicomposting plant, or either it can also be sold to customers. So in this way you can either use vermicomposting product, that is vermicompost, or vermiculture which contains earthworms, which you can sell it to in bulk to the customers. Now what is vermicomposting? It is a bio-oxidative process and joint action of earthworms and microorganisms that break down and stabilize the organic waste, thereby enhancing the nutrient status and physicochemical parameters of the vermicompost. Vermicompost is nothing but the excreta or cast of the earthworms. It is a low-cost technology with less manpower included. Vermicomposting is a clean, sustainable, and zero waste approach. This slide shows various types of organic waste which are generated in large amount in day-to-day life. These include animal manure, crop residue, sugarcane trash, wood scrapings which is generated by through furniture making, etc. in wood mills, vegetable and fruit residues which are generated in large amount from hotels and food processing industries, paper pulp from paper mills and small cottage industries, and the another that type of weed, that aquatic weed waste, for example water hyacinth and hydrilla. These are the weeds which disturb the aquatic biodiversity, suppress the number of living organisms living in the aquatic bodies, thereby inhibiting the sun rays to directly penetrate in the aquatic water bodies. Here, I am proud to share that I completed my PhD in the Department of Zoology, Wharton College of Arts and Science, Solapur, under the guidance of Dr. Rao sir. The department has trained many students, which the PhD topics based on solid waste management through vermicomposting technology, which included many types of organic raw material such as water hyacinth, aquatic weed, tender leaf litter, which is generated as a compound, as a waste product from the BD manufacturers in Singapore, and sugar bagasse, etc. So these are some of the organic waste, mostly the industrial industries which are oriented on this generating large amount of waste, organic waste. Those are the prime contributing towards this organic waste. So these are some of the micro and macronutrients of vermicompost and their acceptable ranges. Here some of the components are carbon, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, calcium and magnesium, and sulfur and zinc, iron. So these are all within the acceptable ranges, which are seen in enhanced increased coverage in the vermicompost as compared to that of the soil. These nutrients, macro and micronutrients, micronutrients NPK, that is nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium, and some of the micronutrients play an important role in the vermicompost that provide in boosting the plant growth and yield. So first that is component is moisture, which is necessary for the survival of the earthworms and maintains the optimum biological activity and the microbial flora. Next is the conductivity, that is, it helps in carrying the electrical conducting, transporting the ions, and pH, which is important for the growth and productivity of the earthworms and also for the absorption of the nutrients from the soil. Ash is important for the decomposition and mineralization of the organic raw material. NPK, which is the most important component in the vermicompost, is needed for the flowering and fruiting of the plants, root development, ripening of the flowers and fruits and seeds, and also for the movement of the soluble components from the soil to the plant. Other components are carbon, which is needed for the providing transport of the nutrients. Now, CN ratio, it is for earthworms, it is essential for earthworms and microbial activities. It is an energy provider. Plant roots cannot assimilate the minimal mineral nitrogen unless CN ratio is 2 is to 1 or lower. Here in vermicompost, the earthworms help lower the CN ratio of fresh organic raw matter. Magnesium is used for the plant growth, is useful for the plant growth, and sulfur is also useful in photosynthetic activities by synthesizing the chlorophyll. Copper is helpful in the respiration and root metabolism. Iron, it is also it aids in the chlorophyll synthesis of the plant. Manganese, it helps in the metabolism of nitrogen and inorganic acids and various photosynthetic activities and breakdown of carbohydrates. Zinc also helps in providing the growth hormones in the seed and grain maturation. Boron is also helpful for the sugar, starch and water transport from the roots to the other parts of the plant in fruit and seed formation. And sodium is helpful in the plant growth. It increases the area of the leaf, stomatal growth, improves the crop quality and maintains the water balance. Chlorine is also helpful in photosynthetic and plant metabolic activities. So coming to the life cycle of the earthworm, it starts with an egg. Within the egg, then a earthworm develops until it hatches. Egg is encased in an egg casing called as cocoon. You can see this small brownish structure, the cocoon. It holds a number of eggs. In one cocoon, it may vary from 1 to 20 eggs depending on the type of the species. So these are some of the earthworm species like Eisena fetida, Lumbricus terrestris, Eisena hortensis. Now, the gizzard is the most important component of the earthworm gut or earthworm intestine as it acts as a grinder or churner. It uses the stones that are ingested during the feeding by the earthworm, and these stones it grind or crush the food component whatever it comes in contact with it. Three types of earthworms you can see here. Epigeic, that live in the surface litter and feed on the decaying organic matter. Endozoic are the burrowing worms. Burrows are typically more shallow and these feed on organic matter present in soil. Hence, these earthworms come rarely on the surface. The next third type is the anasic earthworms that are also burrowing worms that come to surface at night. They grab the food, drag that food and bring it into their permanent deep burrows. Here, the activity of the earthworm gut is like mini composting tube that mixes conditions and inoculates the ingested residues. Moisture, pH, enzymes, microbial populations in the gut are favorably maintained to yield an effective end product, that is vermicompost. Once the casts are released by earthworms, these shift towards new layer in the search of food. So this is called as the earthworm displacement from one layer to another. There is the pathway. Here is the pathway from how a pre-decomposed organic waste through the action of earthworms is converted into a vermicompost. This vermicompost can be used for the field applications on agricultural crops in farms, agricultural farms. It can be used as mixed with soil in the potted plants as a growth medium, or the vermi wash which is produced from this vermicompost, it can be used as a foliar spray on the plants. And along with the boosters, that is the live cultures of our biofertilizers like azobacter, pseudomonas, etc., vermicompost can be used as decomposer and bioinoculants. These charged bioinoculants play a vital role in fixing atmospheric nitrogen and mobilize phosphorus, sulfur, manganese, and iron in the soil. These also improve soil fertility and are economically and environmentally safe. Now, where I can do composting. Composting can be done both on outdoor and indoor spaces. If you do not have enough space for outdoor composting, you can compost indoors using a bin or a pot. This is a simple setup for vermicompost unit. Here, turning organic waste into vermicast requires around 30 to 90 days. That too, it depends on the density of waste, the earthworm maturity, and type of the waste used, etc. A thickness of the waste layer or moisture, temperature, aeration, pH, salinity are all important parameters that are to be considered and maintained during the vermicomposting process. Worms need oxygen and the bedding should be enough porous and aerated. Worms breathe through skin. Their respiration is through their skin. Hence, the bedding should hold sufficient moisture. For that, the vermicomposting unit should be monitored continuously, and if any dryness is seen, it should be watered or sprinkled with water intermittently to maintain the moisture balance. Organic raw matter should be in a palatable mode to be fed by earthworms, because it earthworms, if directly released without any pre-processed organic raw material, they will die. It should be either sieved, shredded, blended, or chopped to facilitate easy and fast decomposition, which will be ready to eat fed for the earthworms. Next important component in this vermiwash setup is, here you can see composting unit. All you need is a composting unit, organic raw material, and earthworms. So another question comes, from where we will get earthworms. So earthworms can be procured from agricultural research institutes or agri universities. So before introducing the earthworms into the composting unit, we have to handpick or select the healthy and mature earthworms, and then we have to release that into the composting units. But when we purchase from the agri centers, we have to handpick all these healthy earthworms. The number of earthworms that are to be introduced into the vermicomposting unit, that depends on the size or dimensions of the composting unit. Now, here the preparation of composting unit. Here, this is composting unit of convenient dimensions. It depends on the availability of the space and organic raw material we use. On that, depending on that, we can construct the vermicomposting unit. In pit composting, I would rather say outlets for excess water should be provided. Also, continuous interconnected chambered pits are always beneficial because that facilitates the earthworm's movement from composed to pre-processed chambers. Vermibed is a moist, loamy soil mixed with 10 days to 1 week old cow dung. Vermibed is of about maybe 15 to 20 centimeter thickness, layered above 5 centimeter broken bricks or coarse sand. Earthworms are introduced in vermibed. You can also add dried leaves, agricultural waste biomass, etc. Pre-decomposed organic raw matter can be added periodically after first to 30 days. After vermicompost is ready, earthworms can be separated by manual method, either by hand sorting or by mechanical method by an harvester, which is built up of a mesh of composed of different sizes. Here you can separate the earthworms and vermicast or vermicompost. Different methods of vermicompost include here uh, pit method, which is prepared by digging the soil below the ground level. The depth and width of the pit varies as per the space available and the amount of organic raw matter present. And after adding the organic raw matter and after introducing the earthworms, the pit should be covered with gunny bags or soil or coconut leaves or rice bran or banana leaves to protect it from the predators or birds. And at every duration of 7 to 10 days, the organic material should be turned upside down or to be checked for temperature and moisture. Next method is the windrow composting method. Piling organic matter, it is long rows are made, the size which may range from 10 feet long to 3 feet wide and 1.5 feet of height. So this windrows method, it includes large rows which are mostly built under shade to avoid direct sunlight, and slightly these are built on slightly elevated concrete levels. So this window composting method, it is used for vermicomposting product which is largely made on commercial basis. Next method is the heat method, which is suitable for both indoor and outdoor space, and it is also used for ideal for large scale vermicompost production. It is rolled according to the space available. Next method is the pot method. It is very so, easy method which is mostly constructed on the indoor space, and here containers such as wooden boxes, metal tubs, cement tanks, plastic bins can be used, and this container should have sufficient surface area for good aeration. Holes also should be drilled at the bottom of the pots for drainage of the excess water. Otherwise, the excess water may be a cause for the death of the earthworms. The number of earthworms to be introduced in the pit depends on the size of the vermicomposting unit pit. And this pit can be made from the bricks or asbestos sheets or concrete material, etc. Stocking density Stocking density is the weight of worms um, biomass, means weight of worm biomass per unit area of bedding. So variation in the stocking density may cause, for example, lower density affects the earthworm reproduction and it reduces the number of earthworms in the unit, thereby extending the duration for the vermicompost process. And higher earthworm density, it introduces the food and space competition in the unit, because the more the earthworms, the more the need of the food and space, so that may affect the vermicomposting process. So this is the Heap method. This image shows the pit and heap and pot vermicomposting, which is actually from my experiment. So this is also the continuous chambered pit method and windrows method, which is usually done under the shades to avoid direct sunlight. Here you can see worms in the compost. The vermicompost after the final product should be stored in proper place or room to maintain moisture and growth of microbial organisms in the vermicompost. Beneficial microorganisms in vermicompost are fungal, bacterial, rhizobiums, azobacters, etc. In my experiment, this is a picture of my experiment. In my experiment, I used various agar media for the culture of microorganisms like nutrient agar for bacteria, saborodextrose agar for fungal culture, Bennett's agar for actinomycetes, Ashby's mannitol agar for azobacter, and Picovasca is a medium for phosphate solubilizing bacteria. So all these microorganisms I isolated from the soil, isolated from the vermicompost, vermiwash, and the earthworm gut, and I compared all this against the soil as a control medium. Here, microorganisms were enhanced in vermicompost, vermiwash, and earthworm gut. When compared with soil, microorganisms live in the earthworm gut and exhibit a mutually beneficial interrelationship. There is a symbiotic relationship between both these organisms. Now, vermi wash, it is a liquid manure. It is a watery extract from vermibeds and earthworms. It is a biofertilizer which is rich in both macronutrients and micronutrients. It is a clear, transparent liquid, and let me tell you, it should be diluted prior to the application to the plants because it is used as a foliar spray. It is sprayed on the leaves on the upper side of the plants, or it may also be mixed with the water and then watered. This water should be applied to the plants. It also has a growth promoting and pest killing properties. So this is a excretory product and mucus secretion of the earthworms. So you can see here a pot with a tap facility or a drum which is used at the household to store water. So at the base, sand pebbles are placed at the bottom, followed by a coconut husk or coarse sand, and then you can add cow dung. Then after the vermicompost along with the earthworms are added. You can see here at the top a pot is placed, but this pot is optional. Either you may add water intermittently by manually, or you can fit a pot with pores which will leach or which will drip the water drops from this pot. So there are two methods for providing the water facility to this. Then after some intermittent time, you can collect this water from this drum or pot by means of the tap which is present at the bottom of this vermi wash unit, and this vermi wash can be later used either for the foliar spray or can be mixed in the water for the agricultural purpose. So this is the vermi wash pot which I designed in my experiment. The final product here you can see vermi wash that is stored in the big cans. So what are the components of the vermi wash? Enzymes, amino acids, microbes such as nitrogen fixers, bacteria, fungi, actinomycetes are present. Vitamins, etc. are also present in vermi wash. It also contains cytokinins, auxins, and gibberellins, which are plant growth promoters. NPK, that is nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, and other micronutrients are also seen enriched in this vermi wash. Here you can see how vermi wash can be used as foliar spray on plants. Vermi wash also contains beneficial plant growth boosting microorganisms such as nitrogen fixing bacteria like azobacter species and rhizobium species or phosphate solubilizing bacteria. This is a slide of my experiment which I isolated microorganisms from vermi wash also. Vermicompost maturity can be identified by physical, chemical, and biological parameters. Vermicompost becomes loose. It looks like dark brown to black color. It is a granular like structure and humus rich. It also has an earthy smell with uniform particle size. Here, earthworms convert the smelly organic waste into a dark, earthy odor, homogeneous castings, which is ideal plant growth supplement. Vermicompost is a non-hemophilic peat-like material with high porosity, aeration, drainage, water holding capacity, and microbial activity. Here in this image you can see the final product, that is vermicompost. Here you can see small granular particles in this compost. This vermicompost is finally packed into small packets. We can use vermicompost and vermiwash in agricultural farmings for by applying the vermicompost, by mixing the vermicompost in various proportions with the soil, and then we can grow the agricultural crops in these fields, thereby enhancing the crop growth and yield in agri sectors and to revitalize the soil. This image is the field application of vermicompost produced from the water hyacinth weed on groundnut crop field in my experiment. You can see here various four treatments of vermicompost produced from water hyacinth on the starting from the right side, and the extreme left side the field is applied only with plain soil without any vermicompost. So here you can see the changes in the plant height and in the groundnut pods here. The crops which are grown on the vermicompost, you can see the increase in the plant height and the increase in the groundnut pods which were grown in the soil enriched with vermicompost, while the control which is the crops which are grown only in the plain soil without any vermicompost. You can see the effect of vermicompost on plant growth and density of the groundnut pods. Vermicompost was also mixed with soil and applied in the pot experiment on tomato plant. Here it can be seen the number of the fruits, the height of the plant and the leaves, the number of the leaves are both enhanced in the pots which is composed of vermicompost and soil as compared to that of the control pot which contains only plain soil. So the advantages of the vermicomposting technology is the most important is it replaces the chemical fertilizers. So the vermicompost and vermiwash can minimize the use of chemical fertilizers, thereby inhibiting the entry of the chemicals which till now they have entered the food chain now. So it is also an eco-friendly and cheap and low maintenance technology and 100% organic without any harmful chemicals. It also decreases the environmental threat arising from the disposal of the organic waste, dumping of the waste. And Here, these are hold the nutrients in the vermicompost. Those are hold in the soil because due to the worm mucus that it contains, and it is not flushed by water from the soil, and also it has very much available nutrients needed for the plant beneficial microorganisms, and it also it has the ability to stimulate the plant growth, and it also suppresses the disease and pathogens and protects the plant crops from pest. The most important advantage of applying or practicing the vermicompost technology is the to make our tomorrow a little greener. Vermiwash contains plant growth promoting hormones, auxins, and gibberellins. It is also used as a foliar spray, and it acts as a pesticide and natural fertilizer for the crop, contributing towards the sustainable agriculture. It is also rich in dissolved macro and micronutrients, amino acids, which are readily available for the plants. Plus, it is non-toxic and eco-friendly compound, which protects the plant from plant pest and pathogens. So vermicomposting technology can be used as a cottage industry for the underprivileged and economically weak as a source of supplementary income. Now coming to the strategies needed for designing this towards approaching for towards the sustainable development is there is a need of shift towards the renewable resources rather than going towards the non-renewable resources by limiting the consumption of non-renewable resources. For example, these renewable resources we may use solar power, wind power, tidal power, and biomass and geothermal energy to create the energy from the renewable resources. Awareness of waste management is a need. Communities, organizations, and educational institutes have initiated for zero waste approach. Also, strategies for best practices of waste management are needed. Here, vermicompost, biofuel, etc., can be harvested from this organic waste. In economical aspects, we should focus on future generations. For example, fossil fuels give us short-term benefit, but it implies exhaustive duration of pollution and unsecure future generations. Here, we should imply for the economical balance towards the future generations, toward the sustainable future, and also we are facing man-made global warming, water shortages, extreme weathers. So we should practice sustainable practices, include policy making for environment protection, maintaining biodiversity and healthy ecosystem. So, vermicomposting technology has expanded to seek its potential role in sustainable agriculture. So, we have to step forward towards sustainable development by practicing and designing all the strategies for better and future safe sustainable environment. This is a screenshot of Amazon website showing the vermicompost product ready to sell. Here you can see the vermicompost produced is packed in an attractive bag and bought on in commercial market to sell. This is another commercial platform displaying the attractive bag containing the vermicompost which is ready to sell. Here you can also see vermiwash is packed in the attractive bottle for selling in the market. Various agri groups or agricultural sectors are active in producing vermicompost and vermiwash. They are also this is also an alternate source for employment. So, keeping in focus, our department in our institution started a capability enhancement program on vermicomposting technology. We involved the students of BSc science faculty and in our institution. As we all know, every institution has a botanical garden and enormous trees, as we plant trees every year in the under the plantation program. These trees in the campus produce green waste. So this green waste and botanical waste can be bioconverted or diverted towards the vermicompost, involving the contribution of the students. So here you can see in our botanical garden, students are collecting the garden waste and the campus waste of the trees here, and the students were introduced and trained by field and laboratory demonstrations of vermicomposting technology. Various lectures were also conducted in the multimedia by audio video lectures, and after the successful completion of this capability enhancement course, the students were awarded with certificates. As we all know, capability enhancement program is expected by NAC under criteria 5. So the key role of the educational institutes in solid waste management, which include the three R's in the campus and at household level, we need to educate and create the awareness on these programs. Higher educational institutions have a key role in this regard to develop a sustainable society by involving active participation of the students. Various courses like add-on course, value-added and certificate courses can be designed on waste management, or we can design a syllabus on vermicomposting technology, and it can gain a skillful mode for the students. There is a need of motivation on cognizance for students with knowledge and skills on environmental education. Students need to be made aware of all this, and various waste, for example, is generated other than garden waste. Green waste, paper waste is also generated in the educational institute campus. So there is a urge to participate in environment protection activities and plants. Thus would generate new ideas for the solution of environmental problems, and because efforts were done to direct the students for the course. So many such courses can be designed under various such programs, because add-on, value-added, and certificate courses are marks. These are having marks in criteria 1 under the NAC. So many colleges nowadays they are practicing or implementing all these programs that include the solid waste management, vermicomposting technology. So these are some of the references I referred. And again, I am thankful to the organizing committee and all the colleges, and I am also thankful to the participants for patiently listening my talk. Thank you.